Heartwarming Plea, discover how a poor girl's incredible request changed her life forever. Lily stared at the flyer in her hands, her heart racing with the weight of dreams and fears. The after-school science and technology program at her school promised everything a chance to explore, to create, to become more than what her small, struggling town believed she could. Yet, the tuition fee loomed like a dark cloud over her aspirations. What if I just asked? She whispered to herself. That night, she gathered her courage, the kind that only comes from hope and desperation. "Mom," she said, her voice trembling, what if I asked the neighbors to help me with the fees?" Her mother, tired from a long shift at the diner, looked up from her worn-out chair, surprise flickering in her eyes. "Lily, proud women don't beg." But in her heart, she knew the fire that burned in her daughter was worth tending. With shaky hands, Lily wrote a letter, pouring her heart onto the paper. "Dear neighbors," it began, "I have a dream to join the science program." She shared her dreams, the work her mother put in day after day, and her wish for a brighter future. A few days later, she slipped the letters into mailboxes, her heart pounding like a drum. To her astonishment, kindness flooded in. Mrs. Jenkins from across the street brought over homemade cookies and a small donation. Mr. Thompson, the retired teacher, donated some old science books, sharing whispered stories of how they helped spark his own journey. Each act of support stirred warmth in Lily's chest, thrilling tears brimmed in her eyes as she felt the strength of her community wrapping around her like a comforting blanket. But then, disaster struck. Mr. Green, the local businessman, overheard and swooped in with an unexpected offer. He'd pay her tuition if she worked at his shop after school. "Think of what you could achieve," he said, an eager grin contrasting with the unease settled in her gut. That night, conflicted and heavy with confusion, Lily stayed awake, weighing pride against opportunity. Morning came too soon, and the next days blurred into a whirlwind. She woke before dawn to help her mother, then rushed to school, living each moment in a dizzying rush. Her laughter faded as exhaustion took its toll. Eventually, the strain cracked her like a brittle twig. One fateful day, a small incident, a misunderstanding at the store, sparked whispers and judgment from peers who didn't understand her struggle. Heart racing, she felt their cold glares pierce through her, and it stung deeper than any insult. Just as Lily felt her spirit crumple, her dedicated teacher, Mrs. Donovan, caught wind of the chaos. Without hesitation, she took to the stage at an assembly, voice steady and compassionate. "This is Lily," she said, her tone firm yet warm. "She's fighting for her dreams. Let us support her." The crowd slowly erupted into murmurs, eyes widening with sympathy. Then came the applause, a wave of sound washing over Lily, igniting a flicker of hope amidst the chaos. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As the kindness poured in, Lily's hope surged, but so did the weight of gratitude mixed with guilt. Was she deserving of this? The echoes of judgment lingered, each word a reminder of the pride she feared losing. She stood at a crossroads, heart racing with uncertainty, grappling with more than just schoolwork but the essence of who she was. Would she embrace their support or retreat into the shadows, burdened by the weight of perception? And so she lingered, the flicker of a dream igniting within, as the tension of a life on the edge shimmered dangerously close to breaking free. The morning light spilled through Lily's window, illuminating the worn-out edges of her dreams. She sat up, her heart still heavy, wrestling with the emotions that had stormed through her the past few days. The results of her plea were overwhelming, but the fear of what others thought clung to her like a shadow. Could she really take the leap and accept the kindness of others? At school, the atmosphere shimmered with an unexpected buzz. Students who had once looked past her now approached with tentative smiles, like summer blossoms pushing through the frost. "I heard about what happened at the assembly," said Marissa, the girl who always sat 2 rows ahead. "That was really brave of you." Her words wrapped around Lily like a warm hug, pushing back the chill of doubt. "Thanks," Lily replied, her voice barely a whisper. She wasn't used to this kind of attention. It felt strange and wonderful all at once. As the days passed, the encouragement from her classmates grew, but so did the weight of her decisions. After a long day filled with science experiments and laughter, she made her way to Mr. Green's shop. The smell of fresh paint and wood shavings greeted her like an old friend. Despite her uncertainty, she couldn't deny her growing interest in the world of mechanics and building. Each time she turned a toolbox or tightened a screw, it felt like a little piece of her future came into focus, but when Mr. Green appeared, that feeling of clarity dimmed. "You're doing well, Lily," he said with a knowing smile. "With this experience, you could go anywhere." The words were meant to uplift, but they also carried an unspoken weight, like a chain she couldn't shake. After work, she walked home, the weight of her decision pressing hard against her chest. "Mom," she began, her voice shaky. Her mom looked up, concern etched across her face. "You look worried, sweetheart." "I don't know if I can keep this up," Lily confessed, her heart racing. "I want to be part of the program, but working late every day, people are watching me," and her mother reached across the table, squeezing Lily's hand. "Lily, you're doing more than most. You're fighting for your dreams, and that takes courage. Just remember it's okay to ask for help. It doesn't make you weak, it makes you strong." Those words settled deep in Lily's heart, intertwining with her hope. She realized that if she embraced the kindness people were showing, she could start to transform her dreams into reality. The following day, buoyed by her mother's encouragement, Lily approached the cafeteria table where Marissa sat. "Hey, can I join you guys?" she asked, feeling the lump of anxiety twisting in her stomach. "Of course," Marissa exclaimed, motioning for her to sit. The warmth of acceptance washed over her, a balm for her bruised spirit. They talked about school, shared laughs that felt like sunshine after a storm. Yet, even in this moment of connection, a lingering doubt whispered to her. Could she maintain this newfound friendship amidst the complexities of her life? As the laughter filled the air, she couldn't help but wonder, what would happen when the euphoria faded? Days turned into weeks, and complications grew. More responsibilities at the shop, elements of rivalry from those who envied her newfound support. Just when she thought she had found balance, a storm loomed on the horizon, ready to shake her world again. With her heart drumming in uncertainty, she asked herself, was she truly prepared for what lay ahead? And as that question hung in the air, the realization dawned: this was just the beginning. Would her journey unfold in ways she never expected, leading her toward a truth that could change everything? The answer was waiting to be discovered. Lily's heart pounded as she stepped into the school hallway the next morning, the chatter of students swirling around her like a whirlwind. Her newfound confidence from the past weeks was still fragile, like a bubble that could pop with just the slightest hint of doubt. Every smile and friendly wave from her classmates felt like a test. Could she keep this up? She approached her locker, her thoughts racing. The sound of laughter nearby drew her attention. A group of girls were sharing stories, their faces animated. She recognized Marissa's voice, bright and warm, making a joke that sent the others into fits of giggles. "Hey, Lily. Come here." Marissa's call pulled her from her thoughts. The warmth of her smile was inviting, and Lily felt herself gravitate towards it, the pull stronger than her insecurities. "Wanna join us for lunch?" Marissa asked, her eyes sparkling with friendliness. "Sure," Lily replied, hoping her smile didn't betray her nerves. They found a spot at one of the long tables, and the conversations flowed. Each joke and shared memory started to weave an invisible thread of support between them. But deep inside, a quiet voice reminded her of the storms yet to come: the pressure of school, her responsibilities at Mr. Green's shop, and her struggle to fit in. As the weeks rolled forward, Lily often found solace among her friends. Yet, with every laugh and shared moment, the shadow of uncertainty grew heavier. Her sessions at the shop became more demanding, each project stacked on top of the last. One evening, after yet another long day, she sat in her room, surrounded by notes and half-finished sketches. A knot twisted in her stomach. What if she failed? What if her friends found out she was still struggling? Those thoughts bubbled to the surface, distorting the joy she had begun to feel. The next day, she stood before Mr. Green, her hands fidgeting. "I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed," she admitted, her voice small. "I'm not sure I can handle all these new responsibilities and I guess, everything." Mr. Green studied her, then nodded. "It's okay to feel that way, Lily. Everyone has limits, even the most capable builders. It's like a structure, if the foundation isn't stable, nothing else will hold. Ask for help. Don't try to do it all alone," he said, his voice steady. That night, after a dinner filled with silence, Lily clutched her mother's hand across the table. "Mom, I want to keep going, but I need to find a way to balance everything. What if I get behind? What if they see me?" Her voice wavered, revealing the fear she had worked so hard to hide. Her mother sighed softly. "It's absolutely okay to ask for what you need, Lily. Remember, true strength lies in knowing when to seek support. Friends are there to lift one another up, not to watch you struggle." Those words resonated deeply within her. Perhaps she could lean on Marissa and the others more than she had realized. The next day, she mustered the courage to chat with Marissa during lunch. "Can we talk? I need some help with balancing things," Lily said, feeling as if she was teetering on the precipice of vulnerability. Marissa's expression shifted from surprise to genuine concern. "Of course. You don't have to go through this alone. We've got your back, whatever you need." Hope began to bloom amid her worry. Maybe, just maybe, working together would lighten the load. Yet, as the lunch bell rang and they dispersed, Lily felt a flicker of anxiety. What if seeking help revealed deeper issues she wasn't ready to confront? As she walked back to her afternoon classes, uncertainty choked her hopes. It was one thing to ask for help, it was another to face the fear of being seen, truly seen. The path ahead was still clouded, and Lily wondered if she had the strength to navigate through it. As she sat in class, staring at the familiar sights around her, an undeniable question swirled in her mind: what would she discover about herself if she allowed others in? And just then, she felt the weight of change creeping closer, ready to tip her world upside down. Lily sat in the back of the classroom, her notebook open but her mind distant. The teacher's words faded into a dull hum, and as her eyes wandered, they landed on Marissa, who was laughing with a group of friends. The warmth of that laughter sent a pang through her longing heart. She wished she could lean into those moments, but the gnawing doubt held her back. What if she wasn't enough? After school, Lily felt the familiar tinge of anxiety stir inside her as she walked toward the art room. It always felt safe in there, a refuge where her creativity could flow without judgment. She hoped that her art would give her the clarity she craved. When she reached for a brush, the vibrant colors beckoned to her, each one a possibility waiting to be discovered, but as she painted, the familiar pressures resurfaced: the upcoming project deadlines at the shop, the weight of her unexpressed worries, and her reluctance to share her depths with anyone. Time slipped through her fingers like the paint she flung across the canvas. That evening, with the setting sun draping golden light through her window, she picked up her phone. A message blinked from Marissa, asking if they could meet after school tomorrow to work on a school project together. It seemed harmless, a bond over assignments. But for Lily, it felt like a life raft tossed into a turbulent sea. "Sure." She typed back, her heart fluttering with a mix of excitement and dread. The next day, they met at the coffee shop near school. The aroma of roasted beans enveloped them, creating a cozy atmosphere. As they settled in with steaming mugs, Lily's nerves danced, prompting her to take a deep breath. Thanks for inviting me to work together, Lily started, gripping her cup tightly. I really need this to figure things out. Marissa raised an eyebrow, her expression shifting from casual to supportive. What do you mean? Lily's heart raced, and suddenly those defenses began crumbling. I'm juggling a lot right now. School, work, and I don't want to disappoint anyone. Sometimes, I feel like I'm drowning. Marissa leaned in, her voice softening. You're not alone, Lily. We all have our struggles. Just because you're strong doesn't mean you have to do everything, you know? It's okay to ask for help. Tears pricked at the corners of Lily's eyes. It was a simple truth, but it felt monumental coming from someone who understood. Thanks, that means so much to me. As they continued to talk, sharing more about their lives and fears, the weight on Lily's shoulders began to lighten. Marissa suggested they form a study group with a few other classmates. Relief washed over Lily, accompanied by a hint of unexpected excitement. Her heart began to open to this new idea of community, but as the conversation flowed, so did the lingering doubts. What happens when the reassurance fades? Could she pledge to remain vulnerable even as she built relationships? Later that night, Lily lay in bed, the events of the day replaying in her mind. She knew she was on the brink of something profound, but the fear of being seen, the vulnerability it demanded, loomed large. Could she truly embrace her strengths and her weaknesses together? With thoughts racing, she picked up her sketchbook. Drawing had always been her escape. She began sketching, pouring all her uncertainties into the lines, shaping each fear and hope into something tangible. It felt like a release, her heart calm for the first time in days. As she finished, a sense of clarity washed over her. This was part of her journey, taking risks, reaching out, and embracing the chaos. But as she closed her sketchbook, she realized she was on a precipice. What if the next step demanded more than she was ready to give? Lily watched the shadows stretching across her room, whispering secrets of tomorrow. The questions that lingered were heavy yet thrilling. Maybe, just maybe, her greatest fears could lead to her biggest transformations. And with that thought lingering in the air, she closed her eyes, knowing that the journey had only just begun. The glow of the morning sunlight spilled into Lily's room, warmth wrapping around her as she slowly awoke. Today felt different. It was as if the sun had whispered promises for a new beginning. She sat up, running a hand through her messy hair and glancing at the sketchbook still resting beside her. The weight of yesterday's conversations lingered, nudging her heart to embrace the potential for change. As she dressed, Lily pondered Marissa's suggestion about forming a study group. Maybe this was the bridge she needed to connect with others, share her burdens, and start carving a path towards bravery. With each button she fastened, a sense of determination bloomed within her. At school, the day unfolded in a blur of hallways and lockers, whispers and laughter echoing around her. The same insecurities tugged at her, but today felt laced with anticipation. Eventually, she tentatively approached Marissa, who was chatting animatedly with a few classmates. Hey, do you think we could talk about that study group idea? Lily's voice barely penetrated the laughter. Marissa turned, her face lighting up. Of course. I think it would be awesome. Let's meet at my place this Friday. Lily nodded, trying to mask the anxiety swirling in her stomach. As days rolled into Friday, excitement mingled with nerves. The uncertainty of spending an entire evening with others filled her with both dread and hope. Would they judge her? Would they see her as just a burden? The thoughts swirled in a haze as she made her way to Marissa's home. When Lily arrived, the sight of familiar faces greeted her, the kind of warmth she had been longing for. There was Jenna, with her infectious laughter, and Alex, who always seemed to bring an air of calm wherever he went. They welcomed her in, cracking jokes as they settled around a long table cluttered with books and snacks. At first, the conversation stumbled over her worries. Each word she wanted to share felt too vulnerable, too raw. But as they worked on their assignments, laughter filled the room like music, slowly loosening Lily's tight grip on her fears. Lily, I know you're good at art. Can you help me figure out this project? Jenna asked, her eyes sparkling with encouragement. The question caught Lily off guard. She hesitated, her mind racing. This was her chance to step forward, a moment to share her passion. Sure. I'd love to, she said, her heart swelling. It felt freeing, sharing a piece of herself, a bridge from isolation to belonging. As the hours ticked by, they swapped stories about their childhoods, shared silly secrets, and even confessed their struggles. The fears that had once felt like walls began to soften, replaced by a tapestry of support and understanding. In that space, vulnerability was no longer something to fear, but a thread that wove them closer together. By the end of the night, Lily felt a profound shift within her. The connection she craved was finally taking root. As they wrapped up, Marissa nudged her lightly. I'm really glad you came today. We need you. Those words felt like a lifeline thrown in turbulent waters. With her heart bursting with newfound courage, she smiled. Thanks for believing in me. But even as she left, a nagging feeling danced in her mind. The bond they had started built a flame of hope, yet would it last against the trials ahead? Standing on the brink of her changing world, Lily couldn't shake off the urgency within her. Was she truly ready to open herself up more and more? With worry settled in her heart and the night sky stretching out ahead, she took a deep breath, hoping that she could embrace whatever came next. What if the very relationships she was starting to build were the key to breaking free from her greatest fears? The following week felt like a whirlwind for Lily. Each day buzzed with a mix of anticipation and trepidation. The study group had ignited a spark in her, challenging her to step out of her comfort zone more than she ever thought possible. As she made her way to school, a warm glow of camaraderie warmed her, but beneath it lingered an uncertainty. Were her newfound friends truly genuine? Walking through the crowded hallways, she caught snippets of chatter and laughter. Each chuckle felt like a soft reminder of the laughter she had shared just days earlier. She passed Marissa at her locker, and they exchanged smiles. Hey, are we still on for our study session this Friday? Marissa asked, her eyes bright with enthusiasm. Definitely. I'm looking forward to it, Lily replied, her heart swelling at the thought. It felt like an anchor as she prepared herself for the upcoming gathering. But as Friday loomed closer, doubt began to creep back in. What if they decided she was too quiet? What if they found her sketches unstylish or boring? Just as she was slipping into this mental spiral, Jenna came up beside her. You okay? You seem a little off, she said, concern lacing her tone. Lily hesitated, her instinct was to brush it off. Yeah, I'm fine. Just busy, I guess. Jenna narrowed her eyes, not buying it. You know, we're all nervous sometimes. It's okay to feel that way. Just be yourself. Those words hung in the air as she walked away. Be yourself. It seemed simple enough, but for Lily, it felt like ordering the universe to align perfectly. Friday arrived sooner than she expected. As she stepped into Marissa's home, familiar faces greeted her once again. Over snacks and scattered textbooks, they dug into homework, sharing jokes and occasional laughter. Laughter always seemed to come easily in that room, but as the evening progressed, Lily felt the spotlight shift slowly towards her. Okay, everyone, I've been dying to see Lily's art. Can you show us something? Alex asked, breaking through her bubble of comfort. Lily froze. Her sketches that had felt like such a gift to share suddenly felt exposed, raw and vulnerable. I don't know, she said, her chest tightening. Come on, don't be shy. Marissa chimed in, nudging her playfully. The support in their eyes was genuine and encouraging, yet it felt heavy on her shoulders. With trembling fingers, she pulled out her sketchbook. Instinct kicked in as she opened a page, revealing a delicate drawing of a sunset over a lake, the colors blending harmoniously. Silence filled the air, but it was the good kind, the kind that invited her to continue. It's beautiful, Lily. I love how you captured the light, Jenna exclaimed, her eyes alight with admiration. As she began to explain her process, the tension inside her eased. Words flowed more freely, driven by a sense of acceptance. They asked questions, complimented her, even shared how her art inspired them. For the first time, she felt like she belonged not just in the group but in the world around her. Later, as they wrapped up the night, Marissa looked at Lily warmly. "You really have a gift. Don't hide it. You inspire us." Those words felt like a gentle touch against her heart. In that moment, doubts shifted. They were no longer shadows lurking in her mind but barriers she had learned to dismantle. As she stepped outside, the cool night air wrapped around her, invigorating and fresh. But her heart raced as thoughts of the future filled her with both excitement and unease. Could she keep this momentum going? What if sharing even more of herself, her dreams, her fears, her art was what she needed to truly break free? Lily looked up at the stars dotting the night sky, breathing in deeply and feeling the exhilarating pull of possibility. What awaited her on the other side of this new journey? The next few days unfolded like a painting splashed with vibrant colors. Lily carried the warmth of Friday night with her, invigorated by encouragement and a sense of belonging that she had longed for. At school, she felt a newfound lightness, smiling at her friends as they passed in the hallways, laughing at inside jokes, and feeling their support like a shield against her insecurities. Every meeting with her study group felt less like an obligation and more like a safe space, a cocoon where she could express herself. But beneath that layer of confidence, the tender pulse of vulnerability still throbbed deep within her. Sharing her art was one thing, but revealing her dreams, that was another level of exposure entirely. On Monday, after a grueling math class, Lily sat alone under a tree in the courtyard, sketchbook balanced on her knees. She drew absent-mindedly, fingers dancing over the page, capturing the world around her, the vibrant colors of tulips in bloom, the laughter of her classmates, and the gentle sway of the branches overhead. It was her refuge. Suddenly, Marissa appeared, plopping down beside her, disrupting Lily's thoughts. Her energy radiated like the sun. "What are you drawing?" she asked, peering over with a curious smile. Lily hesitated as her cheeks flushed. "Just some flowers, nothing special." "Not special? Come on, show me," Marissa insisted. She had a way of breaking through barriers, and Lily admired that about her. With a deep breath, Lily turned the sketchbook towards her. Marissa's eyes widened. "Wow! This is amazing. You have such a talent. You should really consider sharing more of your work. Maybe even have an art show?" Lily laughed, shaking her head. "An art show? That's a bit much, don't you think?" "Not at all." Marissa's enthusiasm was contagious. "Imagine how awesome it would be. You could inspire so many people. Plus, I think it would be fun to plan. Let's do it together." Lily's heart raced at the thought, a mix of exhilaration and panic rushing through her. Could she really? Was she bold enough to put herself out there like that? Over the next few days, Marissa's excitement became infectious. Every time they met, she'd push Lily to consider the possibility, throwing ideas like confetti and giving her more reasons to believe in her art. Slowly, each conversation chipped away at Lily's self-doubt, uplifting her spirits, but still, fear lingered in the shadows. What if no one came to see? What if nobody liked her work? She would be back in that familiar space of invisibility, surrounded by the echoes of judgment instead of applause. One afternoon, the group gathered around a table at their local cafe. Surrounded by laughter, light chatter, and the aroma of fresh coffee, Lily felt warmth bloom in her chest as her friends discussed plans for summer and vacations. Their carefree joy filled her with longing. "Lily, are you in?" Alex asked, snapping her out of her reverie. "For the art show, I mean." Everyone turned to her, enthusiasm hanging thick in the air. The room felt charged with their hopeful gazes, each pair waiting for her to respond. Lily's throat suddenly felt dry. She swallowed hard, knowing that this was a pivotal moment. Could she rise above her fears? But just then, as if sensing her turmoil, Jenna leaned in closer, her voice soft yet reassuring. "You know, we'll be right here with you. Whatever happens, you've already inspired us. You've changed our view of art." The group nodded, their expressions firm, almost like a wall of support ready to catch her if she stumbled. In that moment of unity, Lily felt a flicker of hope ignite within her. The thought of stepping into the light and sharing her journey was daunting, but perhaps it was time to embrace who she really was. Could she be brave enough to leap into this unknown, to allow herself to be seen in her truest form? Lily took a deep breath, her heart pounding. It was time to decide. Was she ready to transform her world through her art, or would fear hold her back once more? The weight of her dreams hung in the balance, pulling her toward a destiny that shimmered just out of reach. The moment stretched like a rubber band, taut and humming with anticipation. Lily's mind raced as she considered her response. Her friends leaned in, their enthusiasm pulsing like a heartbeat around the table. Every second felt like a small eternity. Finally, she broke the silence. "Okay, I'll do it," she blurted, her voice barely above a whisper but charged with determination. The words hung in the air before she could process their weight. The thrill of acceptance clawed at her stomach, mingled with an undercurrent of fear. "Seriously?" Marissa squealed, her hands clapping together. "This is going to be so epic. We'll make it unforgettable." "Yes. We'll help you every step of the way," Jenna chimed in, her eyes shining with excitement. Alex raised his coffee mug, signaling a toast to the first annual Lily Art Show. Here's to dreams turning into reality. Lily looked around at her friends, their faces alight with joy. It felt surreal. Yet the flicker of doubt lingered in the back of her mind. What if her art wasn't good enough? What if she ended up alone, basking in the silence of an empty room instead of the applause she secretly craved? Determined not to let fear override her newfound courage, Lily began sketching out plans with Marissa over the next week. They mapped out the venue, the invites, and even brainstormed activities that would engage the audience. Every time they met, Lily felt her pulse race with thrill, each development solidifying her resolve. But as the date crept closer, panic stirred inside her. What if she couldn't deliver? What if her work wasn't the masterpiece she envisioned? Late one night, Lily found herself staring at her latest piece, a colorful abstraction of her emotions. It was vibrant, yet it felt fragile, like it could shatter at the slightest touch. Tears pricked at the corners of her eyes as she questioned every stroke of her brush. The following day, Marissa noticed the change in her demeanor. Pulling Lily aside during lunch, she searched her eyes. "What's wrong? You look like you could use a hug." "I don't know, Marissa. What if I mess this up? What if people laugh instead of clap?" The words poured out, a floodgate of vulnerability. Marissa shook her head fiercely. "You won't mess it up. You're already inspiring us just by doing this. Art is about expression, not perfection. You have to trust your journey. We all believe in you, and that's what makes it special." Lily felt a warmth spread through her, her heart swelling with gratefulness. The fear began to lift, even if just a little. That evening, she sat down with her sketchbook again, determined to channel her worries onto the page. She sketched and painted into the night, her emotions spilling out in colors and shapes. Each stroke felt liberating, a gentle reminder of who she wanted to be. Maybe this was just the beginning. As the night wore on, Lily didn't notice the stars outside shifting from dusk to dawn. She lost herself within her art, far removed from self-doubt, each minute painting the way forward. Finally, exhausted yet exhilarated, she flipped back through the pages of her sketchbook. Smiling at the reflections of her heart laid bare, she thought, perhaps she was ready. But just when she felt a surge of confidence, her phone buzzed on the table. A message from Marissa popped up. "Hey! Just saw something amazing. You have to check this out." Curiosity piqued, Lily opened the link, and her heart skipped a beat. What she saw made her breath quicken. It was a flyer advertising an art show featuring local artists set to take place the same day as hers. Panic surged within her. Was this a sign? Would she be overshadowed? Should she back out? As doubts swirled, Lily held her breath, feeling the weight of her dreams heavier than ever. What was she truly willing to face for her art? Would her courage be enough to stand tall against the tide of uncertainty? The shadows of doubt threatened to close in again, leaving her on the brink of a decision that could change everything. Lily stared at the flyer, the sleek design mocking her fragile resolve. It felt like the universe is playing a cruel trick on her, a spotlight shining down on her insecurities while everyone else danced in the glow of applause. She swallowed hard, her heart racing. How could she possibly go through with her own show now? Her fingers trembled as she typed a response to Marissa, but she paused. Maybe this is my chance, a tiny voice whispered inside her. It tried to drown out the panic, making her heart pound. Perhaps she could turn the competition into motivation, a fire to fan the flames of her creativity even higher. A deep breath steadied her resolve. After all, art wasn't about just being the best, it was about sharing, connecting, and transforming emotions into tangible expressions. She shouldn't allow fear to capsize her dreams before they even floated. With renewed determination, she put her phone down and dove back into her sketchbook, her safety net, her sanctuary. Each brushstroke was fueled by anxiety and hope. The vibrant colors seemed to vibrate with her beating heart, each layer an echo of her feelings. What if people didn't just see her art but felt it? What if they connected with the chaos and the beauty intertwined within her struggles? The idea lit a small fire within her chest. She was more than enough. The following weeks were a blur of frantic preparation amidst an undercurrent of excitement. The venue was booked, invitations sent, and the walls of the gallery would be adorned with her pieces, the raw expression of her heart laid bare for the world to see. Still, as the big day approached, the competition loomed in the back of her mind like a specter. "How do you feel?" Marissa asked one morning while they set up for the show, her eyes sparkling with optimism. I'm nervous, but I'm also excited. This is my art, my voice," Lily replied, trying to match her friend's energy. But doubt crept in. What if just sharing her voice wasn't enough against the tidal wave of talented artists? The night before the show, she couldn't sleep. Thoughts raced, colliding in her head like restless waves crashing against the shore. Shadows danced on her bedroom walls, twisting into fears and insecurities. The flyer lay on her desk, taunting her with the possibility that she might not be good enough. That maybe her emotions were too complex, too raw for an audience. With tears glistening in her eyes, Lily picked up her phone, flipping it in her hand. She considered texting Marissa, asking for reassurance or just a comforting word. But instead, she put it down, sitting quietly for a moment in the stillness. Maybe she didn't need to rely on them this time. As dawn crept in, she opened her heart to the day. With every inch of her being, she felt a shift. Maybe behind all the competition was a chance to share part of herself, to connect, to uplift others on a similar journey. The day of the show arrived, transforming the once empty gallery into a tapestry of colors, stories, and emotion. Lily stood by her art, heart racing beneath her skin. Guests began to filter in, whispers weaving between pieces, and her nerves danced. Then amidst all the chatter, she heard a familiar voice. "Lily, you have to see this." Marissa beamed, pulling her to the front of the gallery, but Lily didn't see just her friends. The room was filling with strangers, eyes alight with delight and inspiration. What if her voice was stronger than she ever imagined? As she took another breath, gaze tracing the faces around her, Lily felt an emotion bubbling to the surface, hope. But just as she was ready to speak her truth, her gaze locked onto the competing artist, standing tall across the room, unexpected recognition washing over her. Could this be the unexpected connection she never saw coming? What stories would unfold in a night she thought would be only about her art? As the evening buzzed with excitement, Lily stepped back, letting the atmosphere envelope her. The gallery swelled with a mix of familiar faces and new ones, laughter and curiosity swirling around her like a lively dance. She clutched her sketchbook, feeling the warmth of her heart pounding against the walls of her chest. Little did she know, this night would be more than just a showcase of her artwork, it was destined to shape her future. The first few guests meandered around, stopping at her piece of bold painting that swirled with deep blues and vibrant yellows. It felt like her innermost fears splashed onto the canvas, crying out for acceptance. Suddenly, a joyous voice broke through her concentration. "Lily, this is incredible!" Marissa exclaimed, beaming beside her. That infectious grin stirred something in Lily. "Do you really think so?" she asked, her nerves still woven tightly within her words. Marissa nodded, her eyes bright. "Absolutely. You can feel your heart in every brushstroke." That encouragement filled Lily with courage. One by one, guests wandered over, their expressions sparking with wonder. They leaned closer, examining the layers of color and emotion, murmuring to one another about interpretations and inspirations. Each compliment became a stitch in the fabric of her confidence, weaving her doubts away, but just as the evening took flight, she felt the unmistakable urge to glance toward the other side of the gallery. There he stood, the competing artist, swirling in the crowd, engaging with admirers. Unlike her messy emotions, his work radiated precision and technical brilliance. Lily's stomach twisted. He was everything she feared she wasn't, and for a moment, uncertainty clawed at her. Was her vulnerability enough against his polished talent? Just then, Marissa nudged her gently. "What are you thinking?" Lily hesitated before nodding toward the other artist. "What if he overshadows me? His work is perfect," she mumbled. "Lily, you're not competing with him. You're sharing your story. Everyone in here feels your energy. Don't hide it." Those words struck Lily like a bolt of lightning, igniting a fire within her. She wasn't striving for perfection, she was embracing her truth, her journey. With renewed exhilaration, she moved closer to the center, ready to share her art not just with individual admiration but with the energy of the room. As the crowd thickened, she caught snippets of conversations, threads of connection sparking here and there. Then, unexpectedly, the competing artist approached her. "Hey, I'm Ethan. Your artwork is truly captivating. It's raw and real, and I admire that." Surprise washed over her, and the tension tightened at her throat. "Thank you," she uttered, the simplest of words feeling monumental. I really wanted to share something authentic. You know, about struggle and growth." Ethan nodded, a smile breaking across his face. "I get it. Art isn't just about how it looks, it's a beacon for emotion and connection. I think it's amazing that you're willing to share that." Lily felt a wave of warmth, a genuine connection blossoming between two artists, two souls navigating the same stormy seas of vulnerability. They began talking freely about their creative processes. The lingering insecurities faded, overshadowed by exhilaration and connection, reminding her that art was more profound than competition. It was about community. As the night wore on, Lily mingled among the guests, engaging in conversations that illuminated layers of her heart, stitch by stitch. The applause grew, not just for her art, but for the person she was becoming. The fear that had once gripped her heart loosened its hold, shifting into pride, standing amidst friends and strangers alike, engulfed in joy and acceptance. Lily felt a powerful realization wash over her. This was her moment not just to showcase her art but to embrace herself completely. The love from her friends, the admiration of her work, and even the bond she was finding amid former competition made her feel whole. As the exhibition drew to a close, she glanced around, meeting the familiar faces that had shown unwavering support, each smile affirming her journey. She spotted her mother, her eyes brimming with tears. "You did it. I'm so proud of you." Her mother's words hung in the air like music, filling the room with warmth. Lily rushed into her arms, feeling the culmination of every fear, struggle, and dream converge into sweet relief. In that moment of connection, she felt like she was standing at the threshold of a new chapter. Her dreams didn't have to be a solitary path. She could embrace support and build relationships, reminding her that vulnerability was a strength rather than a weakness. With a radiant smile and tears of joy sparkling in her eyes, Lily looked around one last time, realizing that this transformative night signified not an ending but a beginning. A celebration of her heart, shared like a masterpiece on the walls around her. And as she stepped out of that gallery, the night bursting with stars just like her shining heart, she understood what it meant to truly belong. The journey ahead shimmered with possibilities, and she was ready to face it head-on, one brushstroke at a time. Now is the time for you to leap into action. You need to subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Hit that like button now to feed the algorithm and let the world see these transformations. Comment below and share your reactions about this heartfelt ending. Don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see the power of connection and courage. Your support means everything.